You don't need a killer dragon for me. Ooh, I don't need no fairy tale.
Last time you guys made your way through the forest, you decided not to take the long way or the safe way, and some odd occurrences happened in the woods. One of you may or may not have gained a blackened finger. Um, the other of you, once again, created a fire while in their sleep somehow. And the rest of you were just kind of spooked. Then, as you were emerging towards the avium, you discovered one of the grandest of sights, a circus. A lovely and magic filled evening that turned into an all nighter that is only just now about to end as the sun is very nearly risen. We are in the last moments of twilight as you not five, four, um, enter the tent of the wishing tree. The four of you walk into this large tent space. It is fully enclosed as this is not a real living tree. There is no greenery here. The tree itself is made of either crystals or glass. It is beautiful to behold and shimmers with an ethereal light. Where leaves or sprouts or fruit ought to be, there are simple metallic looking containers or supports of some kind. And you can see the other few denizens or occupants of the tent are lighting small, what are those tiny candles? Tea candles? Tea lights?
Yeah.
Tea lights? Yeah. Lighting small tea light candles and placing them in the little metal cups. When a candle is lit and placed inside of a cup and the lighter backs away, the candle seems to phase out of existence ever so slightly and flies into the air before vanishing into the tent's roof. The four of you enter the area, and the beautiful Gallus, who you had met outside, had already told you that this was known as the Wishing Tree. You received no other explanation, and there are no other signs or indications of what's supposed to be done, aside from what you've seen the other occupants do. What do you do?
Is there anybody that looks like they work there?
No.
Standing around?
Nobody in the black and white uniform.
Do I notice like a selection of paper to like at least some sort of like station that I can scribble a note down on and put it into this tree?
The only table space available is just covered in those small votive tea light candles. Unlit, but there is a stand of seemingly ever burning like sticks that you can use to light them.
So kind of like we can add our own little candle to the tree.
Indeed. That seems to be your only option, in fact.
Ganron's gonna look around and just kind of assume that that's the thing that they're asking you to do at that point. So
Okay.
she's gonna do
Right.
that.
Genro, with your high passive perception, you do notice one thing, though it's not of particular note. It's a person that you saw before the four of you entered the circus, wearing green robes in a sable luma, is just now exiting the Wishing Tree tent.
Does she look happy, sad, different at all?
He does.
Sorry.
He is has his back to you. You can't see the face. But if you scroll up, the picture of him is still in the chat.
Lycus goes over to one of the candles and takes one of the sticks and lights it.
As you pick up a candle, you feel a yearning for something coming from the candle itself. Like you cup it in your hands and pick up one of the sticks, and as you begin to turn towards the tree, you feel an intuition that you should give the candle something.
He leans into the candle and whispers, "I wish I knew my family."
walks over to the tree, places it inside one of the containers.
Yep.
As you step away, lower your hands and look upon the candle, a little wistful, you watch it dim as it fades from complete solidity. You feel pleasant, a little wistful, maybe a little sad because of your wishes of a melancholy nature. But as you make your way towards the opposite side of the tree, towards the obvious exit of the tent, you get a spark of hope where one didn't exist before.
He turns to look back at the candle.
The candle's gone.
He pauses and is going to pace around the tree for a while.
Okay. Trio.
All right. Uglo will follow suit. He'll grab a candle, light it, walk up and set it down. And he saw, like it's whisper his wish, but Ugla doesn't like take the care to whisper it, really.
Screams it into the heavens.
He just kind of looks at it. It's more about that he's just like transfixed and lost in thought and doesn't think of whispering it.
Sure.
And so it's like seeing all these little specks of light and all this crystal. He's a bit mesmerized and just kind of like goes into automaton mode. So he looks at it and he says, "Swords to plowshares, so that all the bandits and other warriors and nasty people could focus on growing life instead of ending it." And sets his candle down.
Okay. You feel that similar kind of wistfulness, and then loss as something is taken or given from you to the candle, as it merges with more of an ethereal kind of state. As you step away, you smell something that you only recently smelled, maybe for the first time or rarely in your life. Last time you were in Ashbarrow, you smelled the scent of fresh soil growing, like well nutriented. Well, they have their rich crops.
Fertile earth.
Fertile crops. Yes, that's it. Good.
Nice. That would make him feel great.
Okay. Genra lights one and walks over to the tree.
Mhm.
She breathes in and speaks kind of softly. I wish I'd known my Aunt Margaret a bit better and had a better relationship with her before she passed away.
Similar wistful, lost feelings. But as you step away, you can't help but yawn. You feel like you're in desperate need of a nap.
I'm scared.
You spot 6 children in the corner.
No, I
In your
don't.
direction. You clench your dagger, but the moment passes.
Are you all right, Genma?
I'm fine.
You know, when people use that word, it's very rarely that they are fine.
I'm FYNE fine, which means I'm good.
Wait, no, that's the word that the Fae use. When things are not all right. What's wrong?
All right. Rezik, last but not least.
He goes and grabs the candle. Having seen all the other ones do it, he understands what he saw whenever he saw them pick the candle up.
He's so tiny.
Ugly thinks to himself, watching Rezek light the candle.
And so I light the candle, and as for them to not hear me because I'm worried about them understanding my darkest fear, I whisper in there for us to not find failure in this.
And what are you thinking of when you say this?
I'm thinking of when Pontus specifically singled me out to say,
That's disgusting. Never do that again.
Damn it, Pontus! How could you say that to him?
yeah,
Why would he say that to that young man? Unbelievable.
about to make sure that we don't fail at this, and that I like he singles me out, and I feel like I'm responsible to not to see this through to its entirety and make sure that it's a success as far as whatever this is that we don't necessarily know the whole story behind yet.
Okay. You wish to ensure success in the quest given by Pontus, whatever that is.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty. Similar feelings, loss, wistfulness, etc. You're the only one who wished yourself into a corner. Congratulations, James. You didn't do this to yourself. I'm so proud. Rezek, I need you to roll a D100. Okay. You smell a cheery fire, as if from a humble hearth near a beloved home or someplace you stayed for an extended period of time. But as the scent wears on, the scent of ash grows stronger, and that cheerful fire smell fades. And as the kind of memory or sensation would fall, I see pizza, I think.
In place of the ash, you see
In
pizza?
place of the ash, there is pizza in your nose.
Maybe this isn't all bad.
Is this the cheese addiction coming?
That's what it is. It's the cheese addiction. After the sensation and feeling fade, you still smell ash. And later, when you're kind of outside of the mystery of the circus, you'll notice that you have one blackened pinky.
Time to cut it off.
Time to cut it off.
At least it's your pinky.
At least it's the pinky.
The least important of your
True.
fingers.
The only one you don't need for drawing your bow.
Yep.
All right. So the four of you kind of gather together on the far side of the tent, still feeling that wistful feeling that you're still lost in the moment at the moment, and you'll get all those little revelations as you're leaving. You group together at the back of the tent and make your way outside, finding yourselves blinking in the early morning dawn sun as you face directly into the east towards its rising over the mountains far to the east. The wistful wonderment of the circus fades from your senses, and you'll turn around some number of minutes later to find it completely gone.
Well, that was strange.
Was that even real?
On the boss.
I think strange is an understatement.
In the boss.
I feel it was plenty real, as long as it's what you believe was happened.
What happened when you all went in there? It feels like we went through some sort of dream state. I'm not really sure what to call it.
Oh, it was. Dream is plenty what to call it.
Almost nightmarish? I'm not really sure. Mine was strange. Hopefully you didn't have the same thing I did, but it was almost partially comforting and somewhat discomforting.
Interesting.
Hmm.
I got nothing but pleasantness out of mine. So, childhood memories and old stories, comfort, reading, warm fire, and then at the wishing tree, uh, made my wish, and immediately my senses were overcome with the kind of things that you know make you think it might even be possible.
My experience was a little odd, different from that for sure, but they were all made out of paper and very two-dimensional, I suppose I would say. But it seemed as though old friends were part of it, and even Pontus was there. I think was it Pontus?
Who?
Now I'm starting to question the whole thing. I can't quite remember.
Yeah, strange experiences.
As that feeling of wonderment kind of fades, you all recognize that you've pulled an all-nighter. You're quite tired. Technically, all of you have 1 point of exhaustion. Pepper seems Genra seems exceptionally tired. You're still standing. Like, I'm not forcing you to fall over asleep right now or anything like that. Just that the energy that sustained you through the night and made you kind of go on without noticing has all come kind of crashing down on the four of you. However, you're also not terribly far from the avium. You could push on into the morning and try and make it there, or rest here on the forest edge.
Let's get inside so we don't have to deal with any more bandits.
Yeah. Or trying to remember and prevent two people from lighting fires.
Famous last words from the party who was definitely not going to get hit with plot the moment they entered the city and be forced to stay awake.
Yeah, maybe we should just get in closer to the city and camp on the outskirts.
Too late.
It sounded reasonable to get to an inn. So
I agree.
Let's go with
I
that.
agree. It's what we would have done.
True. All right. So the four of you cross the lawn on the way to the avium. There is a fairly large-sized outer wall, but more importantly is the site that you are kind of presented with. 4 gigantic stone or circular stone platforms float alongside several towers and spires in the air above you. These structures slowly rotate around a leafless and branchless tree trunk made of solid stone. The trunk towers hundreds of feet high, and orbiting structures appear to
Trunk
connect.
tower?
Yes, the trunk towers, not Trump Tower. And the orbiting structures appear to connect to stone bridges at regular intervals, which jut out from the trunk near its upper levels. As you approach the gate, you see 2 perch guards in crenellated watchposts above the entryway to this petrified trunk area. They greet you, and moments later, a robed, bespectacled raptor glides down from the wall to land at your feet. You have not seen this man before, but he is wearing a similar robe to the sable luma you saw previously, and has a kind of glowing crest brooch just like that sable luma did. He's a raptor, so he's shorter than most of you except for Rezik, but he kind of gives a short bow and waves to you to approach the gate proper.
Good evening.
Are you Ugla?
Oh, yes.
Ah, that must make the rest of you Rezik, Genra, and Lycus. He points at the wrong people, but he knows the names.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm Lycus.
Oh,
I'm Genra.
my mistake. Thank you. My
You
name.
confused me for you, Genra.
Well, I was not given descriptions, just names.
Oh, I see.
I am Reese Birchwalker, and I have been sent to collect you.
Oh,
Cool.
on behalf of who?
Yeah.
Well, um, you may have noticed earlier a luma, a man, a sable, bluish purple in color.
Oh yes.
Ah, well, that is our dean, Dean Winsworth, and he informed me when he returned that soon there would be 4 young adventurers at our gates, and I should bring them to him.
Wow. Incredible hospitality. Thank you. We definitely need a good night's sleep after that circus.
I don't recall giving that Luma our names, but maybe I just have a bad memory after all of that in the
It
forest.
was a lot.
Oh, we didn't, but there were plenty of other people we gave our names to.
Probably. I'm a little hazy on the last couple of days.
Besides, some of our tales may start to precede us.
Oh, hopefully the good stuff. You know, the stuff from everything before the previous year.
It's always a mixture.
Yeah.
Well, if you'll follow me. He
Okay.
turns towards the giant double wooden door that leads into the stone tree trunk. He raises up some sort of amulet from his chest that he pulled from inside the robe, and it has on it. You can see like etchings, so you're not super close. But moments later, the etchings magically outline themselves on the large double door, and this time it's much easier to see. It looks like why did I stop scrolling? Come on, computer, scroll. There we go. It looks like an upturned bird's claw holding a stylized flame with a like a sash or of writing below. I have it here in Roll20. It looks like this. Wow.
Cool.
So he holds up this amulet. His is like a gold and much more shiny than this particular picture. But anyways, the emblem etches itself upon the doors, and then they open with a heavy creak. Interior to a large lounge space. There's a main desk sitting near a far wall, behind which there's a scribe who looks to be busy with some sort of large, kind of haphazard pile of papers. Several chairs and couches are situated around a circular tables throughout the room, which is lit comfortably by floating braziers containing magical flames. Portraits of wizened birdfolk hang from the walls, each one wearing robes similar to those of your escort. Beyond the main desk, there is a spiral staircase that leads downward, flanked by 2 large stone birdfolk statues. And off to the side, there's like a cylindrical chamber that leads up out of sight, though it has no stairs.
Mr. Branchwalker, me and my friends have been awake for.
Birchwalker. Birchwalker.
Sorry, Mr. Birchwalker. Me and my friends have been awake for what feels like several days. Could you direct us to the nearest inn before we meet your friends?
The campus has no inns. All who are allowed inside are either students or faculty, or perhaps in rare circumstances, guests.
Maybe a barrack or a temple of Altus?
The temple is on the upper floors and is usually only populated by students and faculty. Please, I must insist you meet the dean.
Right. Well,
Could we sleep first? I'm really tired. I don't think I'm at my best.
Ugla can get the point across to them. Let's meet with the dean, hear what they have to say, and then we can try to find some place to lay our head down.
Let's make this as fast as possible. I'm dreadfully tired.
Hopefully the dean is understanding.
Okay. Yeah. Leads
Randy
you.
grins.
Yeah, totally. He leads you past the large desk, does not take the spiral stair, leads you into the empty cylindrical chamber. And muttering a minor incantation, the floor begins to rise up.
Wow. Lots of magic going on here.
Yes, the Avium is a campus for the arcane studies. Did you not
Hmm.
know?
I think I'd heard that, but to see it in person is mesmerizing. Very cool.
Oh, yes, it is quite wonderful. You ride the elevator up. You spot a couple of the occasional window passing through the area, showing you that you're rising several hundred feet into the air quite quickly. Finally, you stop with a whole lot of like vertical space left. You might only be gone like halfway up the trunk, and you step out and follow through a series of hallways. Finally, you and your companions enter a round stone office. It is surrounded on all sides by windows, through which several spires and large circular terrariums can be observed slowly floating by. The many tables inside the office are filled with disorganized piles of books, and the desk is in a similar state of disorder. A sable luma peeks from up from over the books. Oh, please excuse me. I'm reviewing a few hundred theses for my students. Excellent work, but one does tend to lose track of time. I'm terribly sorry. Reese says, Dean Winsworth, these are the 4 that you told me to collect. Adventurers, this is Gabe Winsworth, the Dean. If you'll excuse me. He back out into the hallway and makes his escape.
Thank you for the escort.
The Dean looks over the 4 of you and kind of nods to himself in agreement with something. And well, I think I saw you at the circus recently. Yes, what was it? A couple of days ago. I hope you enjoyed your time there.
Yes.
It was great. We're just exhausted.
I imagine so. It is a draining experience. Circus. We'll take care of that shortly. Don't worry. I won't keep you long. If you would be so kind as to indulge me, I made a wish upon the wishing tree to be sent some enterprising young people who were capable and discreet, but also external to the university. I have needs of assistance, and it would seem that the tree granted my wish. Hello, I'm Dean Winsworth.
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
It's nice to be wanted. How's it going, Dean Winsworth?
Acceptably.
Yeah, I should hope that all of our wishes come true.
That wave.
fucking kosher. Hi. Well, you do all look quite tired. So I will let you know what it is I need in light details, and we can discuss more later if needed. And then I will send you to dormitories, which I have had prepared for you.
I'm gonna roll insight there. Does he seem really nervous?
Go ahead.
Can I do that?
Of course. You get the feeling this is just his pattern of speech.
Oh, okay, cool. Just mannerisms.
Yep.
That sounds great. I know we're all about ready to hit the hay, so yeah, if we could get a good night's sleep and then hear your proposition tomorrow, it'd be wonderful.
Certainly. But please allow me to inform you of the nature of my issue, so that perhaps you will ruminate on it in your dreams.
In our dreams.
Yes.
Okay.
I suppose one such as yourselves, who are well traveled, have heard of the corruption, the fire.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
we dealt with a druid that was corrupted. That hit a couple of us, and we felt it starting to burn, and we put some balm on it and cured it. But
Oh,
yeah, that'll drive people crazy.
fascinating. The alchemical nature of this balm would be of great interest to us. But perhaps another time. Um, we fear that there is more to this corruption than meets the eye. Once, long ago, there was a great creature that was brought to the humble wood and caused the scorching of that grove. Um, we fear that perhaps it is not quite as gone as history would have us believe. And this is the reason that the corruption returns. Um, However, efforts to research, even here in the avium, where the greatest and longest of histories are kept, have met with strange holes, blanks, as if someone is attempting to prevent us from discovering these pieces of information. I would like to employ you as guest researchers to investigate.
Who is disrupting this information inside of your collections?
Correct, correct, and to retrieve the information itself, if possible.
I see. Uh, what sort of clearances and guidances will be given into this?
Well, as guest researchers, not only will you be treated as guests, you will be fed and housed in all comforts. But in addition, for doing us this favor and for your discretion, you can expect to be treated as if you were a privileged student here in the university. You will have access to any class you wish to audit, any of the common library resources that you wish to peruse or obtain, um, even so far as if you need to review our spell compendiums or our alchemical or mechanical studies. Um, Finally, in pursuit of your goals, there you will be given limited access to the archives, a restricted section of the university. This is where we keep the most dangerous of our literature, and we would advise caution. However, the librarians are without moral question, and will be an aid to you in seeking what you need and not stumbling upon what might cause you harm.
Dangerous in what way?
Some of these tomes deal with forbidden magics, some with lost arts, and both are known to be trapped or consuming of one's attention or even self.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely avoid those.
Who else has access to those types of places?
But
Just out of curiosity.
access to the forbidden section is restricted to tenured professors, upper staff such as myself, and the librarians.
Do you think you could get us a list of all of those people
Ah,
for when we meet next time?
certainly, yes.
Thank you. That would be very helpful in our investigation, I think. Just maybe even beyond that. So thank you.
Sure. If you'll take the elevator down to the dormitories, you can use your pendant to do so. Just raise one up and call out the destination you seek, dormitories. You will find an attendant, a student there waiting for you to take you to your rooms.
Thank you.
Sounds good to me. Let's get some sleep. So I take it we can come back and talk to you with any further questions we have tomorrow.
I am quite busy. He gestures to the enormous pile of theses But
Could we schedule a moment to talk with you tomorrow?
no, this is important. So please come by tomorrow after breakfast and before lunch.
Okay.
Normally I reserve this time for my personal work and not teaching classes. The afternoons are for classwork, and I will be less available.
All right. Well, we'll give
Understood.
you a response then.
Right. Four of you follow the hallways
Another quick
back
wave.
towards the elevator and make your way into the elevator.
Yep.
Ugla stands in the elevator looking around, says, "Yep." Nothing happens.
Lycus holds up his symbol and says dormitories.
Ah, the symbol very slowly like illuminates around the etching, and then one of the walls will kind of mirror that style, and it begins to steadily but quickly lower within the tower.
While we're on our way down, Genra's going to look over at Ugla and say, perhaps we can decide to take some time to that forbidden area and maybe peruse those tomes for something about these digital issues that we've been having, Ugla.
Yeah. I bet they know a lot about that stuff here.
There's got to be something about it, and we should be able to find it here. I mean, if we're not going to find it here, then it's not out there at all, I imagine.
Yeah, let's all keep our gloves on, definitely, and our hats on, and all those other colloquialisms about staying real cool.
Indeed.
And yeah, we'll see if we can figure something out in the books.
Okay. So you make your way down to the dormitory wing. It looks like the dormitories are broken up into a couple of different sections. Students and it's like students, research assistants, professors, major staff. You guys are on that second level there, which is more of like a wing of the students area. There's not so many research assistants that they need their own wing. But there is a very young Corvum, probably no more than 6 or 7, so a very young raven, meets you at the exit of the elevator.
Hello?
Hello,
Guy. We're looking for some guest beds for guest researchers.
guest beds, researchers.
All right.
He starts to toddle off down the hallway.
Follow.
Okay. He toddles. Lots of toddling. Eventually leading you to a kind of
Is
like
his
a
robe too big for him?
no, they fit pretty well, but he walks like he's only just recently figured out what walking like a normal person looks like.
He could be missing a foot.
He's trying to do it all cool.
He affects a small limp though for no particular reason.
He's crip walking.
Yeah. A couple minutes go by. You head up a like a half stair, and enter the research wing. There are 2 rooms allotted to you. They don't have specialty beds, so you just get student beds, which are bunk beds. But these rooms are nice. They're well appointed. They've got like large chests for gear and clothing, very soft beds, a small not magically cooled. It's not a fridge, but there is a small chest that stays cool throughout most of the day, which already has water in it.
So if we have to sleep in 2 different rooms?
2 rooms.
Yeah, we usually all sleep together.
Together.
Yeah. Is there a bigger room that could hold all four of us?
Let's just check it out. See what's
2
in there.
rooms.
Okay, maybe
There's
one of them
2
can hold.
rooms.
Thank you.
Thank you. Toddle, 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 toddle.
All right, so I'm gonna. Is there? I guess open the door and take a look inside.
Sure. There's large student housing kind of chambers. I mean, they're nice. They're not fucking like, shitty.
2 beds and a desk.
Yeah. Well, 1 bunk bed, 2 beds in a 2 beds, a pair of desks, a large pair of large armoires, a comfortable reading nook with a window, the small cool box for water and other things.
I feel like we should still take watches, just due to our proclivity to start fires.
You are right, actually. This could be the most problematic place we've ever stayed in.
Yeah,
Not really sure how we'd create a fire, but,
I don't know.
Yeah, if we
But,
create
there
a fire
two-
here, it's all stone.
Are
I
there
got a
2 sets of bunk beds?
There's 2 rooms, 1 set of bunk beds in each room.
It's each room.
Yes.
Got it.
think I could how hard would it be to take one of those bunk beds and put it in the other room?
These areas are set up kind of like a partitioned apartment style. So it's like you walked into a cluster of small circular chambers, one of which
Yeah.
has like a shared kitchen, 2 bedrooms, a bathroom.
That was my dorm.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Okay, cool.
it would not be overly difficult to push the bunk bed into one of the other rooms if you wanted to.
All right, I think we should do that, guys.
sounds good to me. I can't say I wouldn't mind.
I got an idea. Let's take all the desks, put them in one room, and all the beds, put them in the other room.
Are you saying you want some privacy, Genra?
Nah, she can't have privacy now that she's got that burnt finger.
It's fine. I have accepted that as my fate. So better to be on the safe side than not.
I mean, waking privacy's fine, but when it's time to sleep, we got to keep watch.
Exactly.
I mean, we are in a new area too. You never know what they might try and pull on us.
You never know who is watching either. I'm a little concerned that there's a bit of something like that going on here. But
Ugla pauses, looks around, or listening.
yes, surveillance of all kinds.
Yeah, more than likely.
I'm gonna take this little space over here, this nook for nap time, and I'll be quickly going to sleep while reading a book.
Okay.
I
Sounds
mean,
good.
we got to get the bed set up first. Can you take this desk and put it in the other room?
Genra is already in one of the beds.
Gamera's dead.
Okay, so we'll do this room that Ginner's in already. And I'm gonna go in the other room and drag the bed on over out into the hallway. Y'all move those desks out of the way so I got somewhere to put the beds.
How big are these? Like, are these desks made for courtroom size or like Ugla size, junior size?
They're a medium size. There, so like
So large.
you would find it a little too big. Ugla would find it a little too small. All right. So you rearrange your rooms.
Yep.
Genra is fallen fast asleep. Did you take a top or bottom bunk, Genra?
Bottom.
Okay. Who is?
I'll sleep on the bottom over on this side. We'll leave the 2 top bunks to you guys who don't have the burnt fingers.
Lycus is already asleep over in the reading nook.
Okay, so I'll take first watch. Rezik, you got second watch? And then just wake up one of them two since we don't really go over it.
I guess.
Maybe keep it up. We'll let Ginra take last watch.
Rezik, at some point during the moving of the beds, you spotted your finger.
I don't say anything to anybody yet.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep it to myself, and I'll make sure I keep my gloves on.
All right.
But whenever I go to sleep, I'm gonna actually just go to sleep in the other reading nook. I'm guessing that there's one in each room.
There's one in each room, so you're gonna go to a different room to sleep.
Nope, never mind. Nope,
Okay.
Yep. I'm gonna get on the top bunk, I guess.
There you go.
Or no, I'm gonna take the bottom bunk because Ugly isn't asleep yet. He's gonna be awake.
Oh, and you're gonna take
Good call.
second, so he can wake you up and take your spot.
Yep.
Okay.
That'll make it easier. Not have to disturb them. And maybe we don't. And Uglo starts whispering. Maybe we kind of make it inconspicuous that we're keeping watch. You know, like
Nago needs to go out. I'll be right back.
Okay.
right. Look like we're just reading.
Ugly, you
hanging
figure
out.
out you figure out about halfway through this maybe sentence that he's already asleep.
Okay.
Bye, doggo.
So Ugla's gonna walk in there, and he's just like, okay, it's been a long while. It's gonna be tough to stay awake. I'm gonna do some stretching
Okay.
and some yoga.
All right. Roll. I don't know. Constitution save to stay awake.
Exactly. He's trying to stay active because he knows that's coming.
All right. You make it through most of your shift. You're coming up on what you suspect is your 2 hours. It's daytime outside, so given that even if you've drawn the curtains, there's not like a shifting moon to really track time by. But you're starting to fade. Are you gonna try and tough it out, or will you wake Rezek early?
I figure they're as tired as I am. I'll try and tough it out.
Okay.
Just stand up, flex, try and keep my blood pumping.
Give yourself a little.
Yep. Everything I can.
Okay.
Doing headstands, trying to keep the blood flowing to my brain, all that.
All right. Okay. In the last half hour of your 2, when that like sleep delirium is really setting in, several times you're pretty sure that little young Corvum peeks his head around the corner to your room.
I close the door.
There's no door. There's drawn curtains.
Looks like he's moving the curtain to peek in.
Yeah, he peeks his head in between, or maybe he just like moves it slightly to the side. You see one big old raven eye.
After I see it the first time, I'm going to be standing ready for
Okay.
the second time and jump outside when I see it.
Okay. Just 10 minutes before the end of your watch, the curtain cracks once more. You leap through it. He squawks in terror. And
and I'll pretend like I'm playing a little joke on him. Can I help you?
he breathing hard, recovers a moment. Can I help you?
Nah, another 6 hours and then we'll be looking for breakfast.
Breakfast.
Okay. I'll pat him on the head. Go back inside.
Okay. Your watch wraps up and Rezek's turn comes around.
And I go wake him up.
Okay. You tell him about the Corvo?
Yeah. Rezek, there's the little dude that escorted us over there. Caught him peeking his head in here 2 or 3 times. I'm not sure if he's just checking on us, seeing if we need anything. Maybe he's just there to help us out. I don't know. I told him just to have breakfast ready in 6 hours. But I don't know what's up, really.
Okay.
I don't think his mastery of bird folk is quite where it needs to be to have a multi-sentence conversation. Ugly trails off, falls over, passes out on the bed.
Okay. Rezek, recovering. You're still in the midst of recovering from your own exhaustion, so you're still very tired. Roll Constitution save to tough out your watch. All right, just as good as his. About 3/4 of the way through your watch, you feel yourself starting to fade. Are you gonna try and tough it out, or are you gonna wake whoever's third early?
I'm going to tough it out by going to get some cool water.
Okay.
And then downing it and then grabbing another water. Just
Gotcha.
that way, if I need swap it, because I feel like it'll make me have to go to the bathroom. Keep
Right,
me
right,
awake.
right. Perfect. All right. So you go to the cold box and find there's not only water but there's also apple juice and a another bottle of water that appears to have some like bubbles in it. You're not really sure what that is. Um, you got those three options. Which one would you prefer?
I want to drink the apple juice, all the apple juice
All
first.
right, you
And then I
down
want to grab the water.
you down the entire bottle of apple juice and take the water with you. Which water? The bubbly water or the regular?
The regular water.
Okay. Okay. As you're returning to your post, you spot the curtain has slightly parted. There's a small Corvum face peeking through. When he sees you seeing him, the curtain goes.
Is this a male or female?
You think it's a young boy.
I don't yell, but I say it sternly. Boy! And I'll go to walk out there to confront this child.
Having heard
That
that,
is probably taller than me.
you hear a great deal of scampering, and by the time you reach the curtain, he's gone.
Now, is there a doorway into our like apartment?
Yeah,
kind of
there's a door.
thing,
There's
or-
a doorway into your apartment area, and you didn't hear a door, so he's probably still around.
Would the curtain be out of sight for me by just kind of walking around and poking my head around other places, or
Like-
would I have
Like the bedroom.
not not going into other rooms, but just kind of taking a look around to see?
Depends on where you went. So if you're looking at Roll20, there's a map of this. It's the lower right bubble. So there's the two bedrooms, like a dining room, a sitting room, etc. So the bedrooms are near each other. The sitting room has like a larger curtain, and then the exit door would be pretty much not visible from any other room.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go try. I'm gonna kind of peek my head in the other rooms, so that way I don't lose sight of our room. So that way he can't just like run in or do whatever.
Okay. It doesn't look like he's in the other bedroom nor in the study, but when you poke your head into the shared kitchenette, you spot him sitting, looking like he's being very diligent, like he's like back straight, and he's sitting in a chair, and he looks very professional, or at least like a 6-year-old is trying to be very professional.
Try whenever you go to your battle net.
Boy, what are you doing?
Boy,
No. Use your words.
words.
I'm really tired, so I'm super aggravated. No. Talk normally.
Normal talk.
Is the Corvum bigger than me at this point already? Please
No,
say yes.
he's probably like 2 inches shorter than you. He's only 6.
Okay. I say, if you can't explain to me why you're in here, you're getting out.
In here. He toddles over to what looks like a larger cooler box and pulls out several like refill water decanters and apple juices. Toddles back to the table.
Communism on the stairs.
Does Resic understand? Like, in his tired state, does he make the connection? Do you want me to roll perception?
Do you feel like you understand?
I mean, I do, but my character's super tired.
All right, roll insight. You get the feeling he's there to help, but you're just too tired to connect the dots on how or why.
Okay. I tell him, stop peeping in on us. We'll be fine. It's weird.
Ethan.
No, weird. Weird. Say it with me. Weird.
Apple juice.
Oh, I kinda like him. He's
He's
cute.
adorable.
I go back in there and finish the rest of my watch.
All right.
I'm super frustrated at this point.
Okay.
I'm ready to just toss the kid out in his head.
Watch wraps up. Nobody claimed third or fourth watch, so who do you wake up?
Go and wake up Lycus.
Okay.
Or attempt to.
Go and rouse Lycus in the nook. Lycus, you've gotten most of a rest so far, so you're not super groggy, but you're definitely feeling like you need the rest of your sleep.
Lycus,
Unless you're beer.
wake up. We're gonna do
Yeah.
watch.
Why?
Because we said to. Get up, go to watch. The
Isn't
rest
it
of
a-
us did it.
Isn't it a locked room?
There's a fucking kid in here. Just peeping at us, man. It's weird.
So?
So, what about Ginra? Wanna
Look,
peep
you're a
at Ginra?
guest researcher. Act like one.
I'm not a researcher.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm a traveler.
Didn't you hear what the dean said before?
Yeah, well, we're still doing watch. Because two people like to set shit on fire.
You are insufferable.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna go sleep.
Go to sleep.
I go climb on the bunk above Ginner, I guess.
It's a meme. It's just
All right.
All right, so Lycus spends a couple of hours until everyone else wakes up, and then he goes and lays back down.
Lycus, during your watch, you hear a very light kind of like, I guess, wood on stone coming from outside the curtain.
He peeks outside.
There's a small wooden tray with what looks like a refill on a container of apple juice. Or to you, since you didn't know there was apple juice in the cooler, there's a fresh bottle of apple juice on the wooden tray.
Excellent, I've been parched. He drinks.
Okay. Having been spooked by mean old man Rezik, the child does not reappear during this watch.
Lycus puts a single copper on the wooden tray.
Oh, okay. During the groggy ending of your watch, you probably won't notice that it gets lifted and leaves.
Mhm.
Your watch ends, and it's the last turn, and Genra's up.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Then
What
we have
was
to go
that?
back to that where those traps were.
Apparently, we're still doing watches, even though because people set things on fire. Even though I'm not terribly worried about it in here, but you know what? Whatever.
I'm going back to sleep.
Wise decision. Good night.
All right.
Good night.
Everyone wraps up their watch.
Last watch
Genra.
didn't happen.
I know.
Yep.
Genra. Roll a d90.
All our shit's taken.
Excellent. You have a confusing series of dreams. There are a lot of crickets, a lot of sand, a lot of colorful beds of flowers. And the last, like, real piece of imagery, that thing that you actually remember when you wake up rather than just the snippets of the rest of the dreams. That piece that you actually remember is a hilltop somewhere north of the wood, underneath a starry field surrounded by stones. The fourth watch doesn't happen, and so you guys were exhausted. So the four of you finish up your sleep, going a little extra long, probably catching an extra hour or so. And since it was early morning, you awaken in the early evening.
So tired.
The four of you rouse as you hear what sounds like students either returning to or heading off to dinner, returning from or heading to dinner, out in the major dormitory hallways. The thing that really rouses you is a small bell-like sound, just a very tiny ding 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 ding.
Yep.
What time is it?
Oh, there's a.
Time.
I jump out of bed.
Oh, I reckon it's probably time by now.
Weren't we supposed to meet that dean?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
We met him this morning, and we'll probably be awake most of the night and meet with him in the morning.
Oh, okay.
But we completely messed up our sleep schedules, so let's just try to fix that tomorrow, shall we?
Yeah.
Whatever you
Well, maybe if we go to sleep at like 4, we can wake up at like 10.
Or, we can find something to help us sleep a little bit.
Or that.
So, what are we gonna do right now?
Time. Looking over,
Yes, what
now
time
that you've had a little groggy wakefulness, you spot the small Corvum standing at the in the entryway. He's pulled the curtain aside, and he's got in one of his hands he's got a small bell. Not because he was given a small bell as a tool. It looks like someone hung a small bell about his neck, and he's decided to use it.
What time is it?
Time.
What are you doing that for?
Time for.
Time for what?
Death.
He looks confused and at a loss for words. He rings his bell some, just kind of like absent-mindedly, like ding.
Oh, I think we should follow him.
I look outside. What?
Early evening, just after sundown.
Must
Okay.
be. Pro-
So I'm just gonna go ahead and
he looks at you.
on and get all this crap together.
Yeah.
Make a connection. It's probably time to eat.
Food
you can-
sounds.
Probably.
You can tell he gets a little frustrated at his own lack of vocabulary, and he like puts his head down and runs out of the room.
Hang on.
Like his chases after him.
Following behind, he's headed for the kitchen, where now that you're up and about and like moving through your space, it smells like there's food in your apartment.
Excuse me, do you make this
Uh,
food?
You follow into the kitchen, and there's several plates of hot bread, and a fair assortment of toppings. It looks like it's good and it smells delicious. There's not like a lot of spread, like the standard kind of snack or like basic meals inside of apartments looks like it's like fresh baked bread and butter and fixings.
And
but
go ahead.
he runs over there, like is shortly behind him, and he runs up to the other side of the table, looking like he's back on his job, and ding ding ding, time for
Dinner.
dinner.
Yes. Dinner.
Dinner.
Yes. Good word. Good word.
He's so
Well
excited.
done.
As I walk
Lycus
around,
walks over and pats him on the shoulder.
He seems very proud of himself.
as I walk around the table, I pat him on the head. Thank you.
He dodges mean old man Rezek. The other three of you notice that he's particularly wary of Rezek.
What did you do to him, Rezek? What is
Oh,
wrong
it's
with
food.
you?
He kept peeping in here.
He's probably monitoring us because that's his job.
Just looking after
And
it, maybe. He's like a little
Yes.
attendant.
Exactly.
You said it.
Attend.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I mean, look at all the great food he made us. Isn't this nice?
This is quite
Dinner.
nice.
Yeah, dinner.
Yes. Lycus sits down and starts partaking.
You got any beets?
Eats.
Don't say
Eats.
that one word though. You know which one I'm
Eats.
talking about. Ugla,
Dinner.
Resin,
Mm.
Lycus.
I don't know which word you're talking about.
I won't say it, but I will speak that you shall not say it in the presence of anybody else.
Eats.
Potatoes.
Potatoes.
Mm,
This looks great. Uggle's gonna sit down and just start eating stuff.
Yeah.
Indiscriminately.
Yellow first.
He grabs or like he heads off to a little like I don't know box I guess that's attached to the wall and thumbs through a couple of like leaflets and comes back with a piece of paper and he puts it down. He says, "Read,
What?
read,
Read. Okay.
read."
Uggle's gonna take it and try and read it.
Sure. The paper details kind of like the like a bullet list of what your research your guest researcher amulet grants you access to. You can, as I mentioned during in the other scene, you can attend. You can like audit any course that you'd like to sit in on. You can peruse the available spell compendiums. A wizard or similar spellcaster who has to like learn and memorize spells can pick up almost anything on their spell list here. A bard, ranger, sorcerer, or warlock could spend one full day in study and swap out any spell they have for any other spell they could learn, so long as they're on a same level. So if there's some spell that you don't use or don't think you is as useful as it could have been, you could swap it out. And any character proficient in herbalism or alchemy can sit in or can make their way to a research laboratory and make use of the available stocks there.
Lycus is very excited about that last one.
Wow, yeah, so Uggle's like reading all this out loud in the group. He's gonna look down at the little guy. Hey, have you got a list of classes that they do here?
Classes.
Is there a drama class? Acting?
Read.
Performing?
Read. Read. Classes.
Ah, reading class.
read.
How about
On a door.
Is there a performing class?
Performing.
Drama.
Cocks his head in
Plays.
confusion. Play?
Plays, yeah.
He runs out of the room, comes back with a small ball. Play?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, play. Uggle's gonna hold his hand up.
Tosses it.
And they're gonna play ball a little bit.
All right. In general, you can find, especially in like the normal sections of the university, you can basically find a class on all of the major schools of magic. And if you are willing to like inquire and hunt about, there are more niche classes and like specialty labs that are in the small towers. So like when you walked up, I described a bunch of giant floaty things. There are also some small floaty things that looked like really old. And the small floaty things hold like specialty labs and specialty courses. So there's if it has to do with magic, you can probably find it or something about it here at the Avium.
All right, so yeah, Uggle's gonna look in the group and be like, hey, maybe we should try and find a class about curses.
I would imagine that's in the library.
Or religious magic. says to himself out loud.
I think we should get some supplies and perhaps some scrolls or something we can write on, because I do think we'll be end up taking a lot of notes from whatever we find in the library. Is there a
And-
store, little bird? Don't know what.
What's your name, young lad?
4 of them, not a bird.
What?
You keep speeding.
He's still a bird.
He's a bird that walks.
He's a bird
Corvo.
folk.
One of
The
them
other
bird
birds still
people,
watch
you know, like us.
At some point, they do land,
Mhm.
right?
When you ask him his name, he gets that really confused look again. He looks down at himself. Name. Cocks his head in confusion, and then just kind of like squawks and whistles. Like he makes a raven sound, and doesn't continue on.
Caw then.
I think we broke him.
Boy, it is.
Boy.
Wonderful. Boy, is there any supply store at this school that we
Wanna go
could
right in?
partake in?
Or play.
Maybe use simpler words.
Right?
He runs out of the room, comes back with like several small balls and a stick, and then he goes over to one of the chairs and stands behind it and puts them out in an array of his wares.
Awesome.
I think I'll just end up exploring. Thank you,
Oh, there
though.
was a fire.
I appreciate your help.
Paper. Do we have paper? Right? Read on.
Paper. He runs over to the box where he had gotten the leaflet out of and comes back with a big old stack of paper.
Yeah, I don't think we need to get paper, guys.
Cool. That's just, I guess that's fine. Thank you.
Is he going?
He heads off to the cold box and comes back with a looks like a it's like, I don't know, maybe 3 inches tall, 2 inches across, 1 inch deep. It's like a rectangular prism of some kind, and made of some sort of small, like thin, flexible material. And he grabs, and then from a pocket, he pulls out a small tube of some sort. He stabs his rectangular prism, and he sits there.
Are you enjoying your drink there, boy?
Apples.
Ah, apple juice. All right. Well,
I guess we got a little time to explore.
I'm going to head down to the alchemy labs to see what materials they have and see if I can make some balm when we find ourselves with a little free time. If the rest of you could map out the
I make a copy of the corruption bomb and hand it to him. Like, here, if they got the stuff for this, maybe see what you can do with this too.
appreciated, and if we, why don't you all go ahead and map it out, and then we can start looking into issues tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe. Say, do you want to see if we can find any bombs to maybe help us sleep, or some type of drink tonight that won't like make us dead to the world, but something that'll at least ease us back into sleep, so we can keep on schedule, but not miss him in the morning, because it seems pretty important. I don't want to spend a whole extra day not doing.
We're going to be up all night, and then we'll see him in the morning. It's whether we want to stay up after want to sleep for 12 hours. I can arrange for both.
I think we just meet up here at midnight and go to sleep. 5 or 6.
Whatever works.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and make some. I'll go ahead and make some balms then, and see. And I'll see you all back here.
Okay.
What are What are you two going to do?
Oh, Kaka, could you show me to the alchemy labs?
Boy!
Boy, can you show me to the alchemy labs?
Uh,
Okay.
Could you show me to the temple?
um,
Let's just
Yeah.
try to use our amulets to get there.
That is what I plan on doing when I go down to the forbidden part of the library.
We might have to accept their offer for that first, although I guess we are technically already guest researchers.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, we have everything we need.
We do have the
Technically,
card.
on the job.
If you want to look into your hand, well, that would probably be good.
All right. I'm going to go try and find the temple, see if there's any brothers here.
Restic, what do you want to do?
I guess I'll go with is the libraries and then the forbidden areas. I assume that the forbidden stuff is probably the same area.
no, very separate.
Okay, well, I'm going to go to the library then.
Okay. Yeah, the standard library is split among a couple of different places. There's like the main library, which is here in the central trunk, and then each of the large floating terrariums is like a biome for natural magical studies, and they have their own small library pertaining to their subjects. So, where are you
Okay.
going?
The general library, I guess,
Okay.
instead of one of the specific biome ones.
Alrighty. We'll go clockwise then. James, Lycus, where are you going? What are you doing?
He's going to go down to the elevator levitation pad
Mm-hmm.
and hold up his amulet and say alchemy lab.
Yeah, actually, Ugly's going to run to the bathroom real quick.
Okay. You make your way to the elevator and say alchemy lab, and the symbol lights up and the wall lights up and it raises to a certain point. The hallway doesn't look like a lab, but it stopped there.
Roll investigate to see if there's anything in particular.
Sure. Alrighty. You
Wow.
don't find anything that really stands out. What you do see is that in addition to several small chambers that don't look like labs, there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 8 exits to the exterior of the tree on this level, all of which lead to like a very short platform and then a set of stairs that go up or down, or maybe just when one of them has like a straight bridge. But all of them, the bridge and any of the stairs, end in nothing, just open air.
He goes and heads up that first one and then sees if there's another stair there at the edge of it.
Okay. You attempt to Indiana Jones it. You poke the air. There's look around. Nothing really seems to be there, and you're pretty sure you'd fall to your inevitable death if you decided to step out. However, as you're trying to figure out what's going on, you are reminded of the floating objects as one very slowly starts to bob into view. It looks like all of these floating like biomes and terrariums and stuff like that circle the tower at some sort of set rate. But as you realize this, you start to look around, the rate of each object is not the same. So, like, it occurs to you, especially as like a student and crafter yourself, and for you specifically as a humble folk, knowing when and where to board a platform is probably very important to the non-bird folk, because it doesn't look like they circle quickly. So catching something at this platform is probably like every half hour.
All right, so he's gonna go ahead and he's gonna try to map out as much as he can for the floating platforms.
Okay, so basically just hang out on this this like stair up for the next hour, watching all the platforms float by. It looks like 4 of the smaller stone towers will float by this platform over the course of an hour. And then looking up and down, you see about a dozen others, stone towers or biomes that are floating by other platforms or bridges.
Okay. He'll go ahead and try to hop onto one of the. You know what? He's gonna first look and see if there's any labels for these platforms.
Okay. So these smaller ones, this basically the stone towers, which is what they're called in the book, the towers. Um, these are the older buildings, and you read in that short note that these towers are the ones used for specialty labs and specialty courses. Um, they don't have any markers, though. Two of the 4 that are floating by you do look like they have maybe like stains or blast markings.
Those are probably the ones I want.
Probably.
He'll go ahead and hop onto the first one that floats on by.
Okay. Each platform gives you maybe 30 seconds to make the transition before it's out of jumping distance for a humble folk.
He'll also record down which tower goes where
Sure.
at what time.
Okay. You got a reasonable, actually, with your perfect memory, you have an exact knowledge of when and where each platform on this level will arrive. You hop onto this one and head on into this tower. This is indeed the tower you were looking for, though there are no alchemy courses going on today. You do find a small number, maybe 3 empty laboratories, all containing various sizes, scales, and qualities of alchemy tools. You also find a storeroom that is filled with basically any non-rare ingredient in a quantity that is more than enough.
Right. So he's gonna look in the storeroom, compare against the recipe that Resic has, and look and see what's missing.
You don't have dried fire corrupted veins. Remember that was the primary ingredient because
that was the primary rare ingredient.
You had the lizard.
Right. He's gonna see if there's anything he thinks he might be worthwhile to substitute in there.
Given your knowledge and a couple of very careful pokings with the hand, you can easily approximate something close, though you think it would only work against regular fire, probably not the corruption.
Okay, so it would be like a fire resistance potion.
You could essentially make fire resistance potions, yes.
Okay, he'll go ahead and whip up a few of those and a few sleeping balms, probably with some poppies or something.
Okay. It will take you half a day per fire resistance potion, and 1/3 of a day per sleeping balm.
Oh, per. Oh,
yeah. While the supplies here are plentiful and free, they do not reduce the time, or they do not massively reduce the time required to craft.
Fair. Okay. In that case, he's going to go ahead and try to finish Ugla's ring. Is there any check you want me to make as a part of that?
Yes, roll alchemy.
Do you want me to roll alchemy or jewelers? It's the same check either way.
I'd say alchemy just because you're in the alchemy lab. You're not in their enchantment
Fair.
lab. Man, we cannot roll well today.
Nope.
You assemble the required components, but spend the remainder of your day attempting to figure out the proper formula for enchantment.
Should I make one more check at the end of the day?
No, you'll have to try again tomorrow.
Okay. At which point he'll go ahead and head back with the basic ingredient to help everyone sleep.
Sure. You've got a essence of melatonin in a like a small sachet, yeah, sachet's the word, um, that you can put into like hot water or tea.
Yeah, he'll mix it up with some mint
There you go.
and just take it back.
Okay. All right. Clockwise we go. Dangyong, Ogla, what are you doing? Where are you going?
He's gonna go try to go to the temple area.
Okay. So you walk the elevator and you say temple.
Yep.
All right. The amulet lights up. The wall lights up, and you start headed upwards. Near the, not the top, but in a near the like upper third of the central shaft, you're led out into a large atrium area. This is not quite as high as the dean's office was, but very near there. And you can see that a lot of natural light would be let into this section, but it's after sundown now. And it looks like a lot of another section of classrooms. Like you don't see any actual like full blown temples here, but you do see symbols to the major gods on each classroom door.
Interesting. So yeah, he'll look for the symbol of Altus and just poke his head and snoop around in there.
Okay. Each classroom is constructed like a kind of small temple, except instead of like pews or seating areas, there are students' desks. And the walls of each classroom are lined with books. You know, like turn ahead into all the ones you pass by and spot these features, and actually, you know, like put your body or step into the Altus classroom. It doesn't look like there's anyone here or in this entire wing. In fact, as you guys travel around, it looks like most of the avium closes after dark. So you wander around here, and there are definitely like Altus symbology is here. Some of his like favored items or objects are put aside in a like a large wooden case, and there's a long shelf, singular row of tomes or books up on the wall near the ceiling.
He's just gonna like go up. Is there like a lectern that might be read from?
Sure, there's a desk that the priest
teacher
or
might be at.
teacher might be at. Yeah.
He'll go and see if he can like locate their lesson plan or some sort of book that they might be teaching from, and flip through it, or just try and ascertain whether they're learning for purpose of worship or just for information.
Definitely stronger to the latter. They teach about worship and like the following of Altus's teachings, but they're not structured in a way like these are the prayers, these are the words of Altus, etc., etc.
Right. It'd be like if we took a class like a world religion class.
But that's exactly it. All of these classes are the divine studies.
So he's actually very curious about this because I mean, I guess he had his upbringing and he knew how different people felt about different religions and such. He's going to see if there's like an extra, like a spare textbook potentially that he could grab just to see how like the general world views followers of Altus and
Sure.
the Althusian religion.
You peruse the long bookshelf. You do find a variety of spare textbooks, but they all look to be like older editions. They're kind of dusty.
Yeah, he doesn't want to steal like a kid's textbook, so he'll like. Are there current textbooks around that might be used, or
That's you don't see any textbooks that aren't
Any current-
dusty.
all right, cool. He'll take like whatever looks like the newest numbered version
Okay.
of the older ones.
You grab the rightmost dusty textbook, and below the cover, it's just studies on divinity, colon the teachings of Altus.
And he'll take that and kind of glance around and see if there's anything that strikes him as out of the ordinary or strange or something that he wouldn't have noticed or thought about.
Okay. Roll perception. Definitely not.
Yep. So yeah, he'll take he'll grab the book and he'll go out in the hallway and he's just gonna like examine the wing and a bit closer. Like yeah, there's a room for each of the different religions. Is there like I don't know. Is there anything related to being a paladin there?
in each classroom, and like the study of each religion, the clerical and paladin-esque, like studies and strictures would have been detailed as well as they're known.
All right. So yeah, he's just going to take this book on the what's the word for it? The secular world's view of Altus, and he's going to take it back to the dorm area and study it.
Okay. You'll spend the remainder of your night lost in the studious natures of Altus.
Yeah, he's going to try and like ascertain how he would be viewed from the outside.
Okay. Largely based on this very mildly outdated text. I mean, this is like textbooks that update editions, so you have to buy new versions, not because there's actually new information. So based on this mildly outdated text, Altus's common clerical and paladin-esque followers are not quite in your vein. They follow a little more strictly towards his teachings. Let's the top, not the bottom. Go back, book, go back. There we go. Yeah. So, most followers of Altus are pretty strict or straightforward towards his dogma. They are, like the purveyors of growth and change. They try and, especially the clerics, will often find themselves in governing positions among high society, as they are attempting to foment growth amongst the all peoples of the Humblewood. Paladins normally it makes special note that many paladins of Altus will make pilgrimage to the outer reaches of the Humblewood and even beyond the kingdom itself, in order to either stamp out the roots of stagnation, or bring change to those that would harm Altus's outlook on the world.
So it's gonna mainly be stuff that he's already fairly aware of.
Right.
I'm sure it's still interesting to see an outsider's viewpoint, though.
Oh, for sure. And there's lots of historic pieces that you weren't taught during your own upbringing, since you grew up with the the nobles' outlook on history, which is basically, we did it right. Here's how everything worked. It was awesome because we're smart.
He's gonna look for about how many years old is this book?
It looks like it was dated 15 years back.
Okay, so he's gonna look at maybe there's like prominent figures or head brothers of each of the cities, or like key people in Altus's religion. And he's gonna look at Winnowing Reach and see who it has listed in a leadership position there as head brother.
It does not mention the Reach at all.
Winnowing Reach is not mentioned at all. Like,
no.
It would only be like Alderheart.
Correct. It mentions Alderheart, the Avium, and then there's like historic, moments or pieces of Temple of Altus history, but none of those mention the Reach, nor any other minor city. Sorry.
Does it mention any holy sites outside of the cities?
It does. Back to that. It mentions a land or a site beyond the Eastern Mountain Range, that was supposedly the site of where Titan, with Altus's aid, defeated some great foe, but does not give details. It reads a little strongly of falsified religious history to make it sound cooler.
Oh.
There may or may not be a site of some religious import there, but it's it's the cave where Jesus slept for 3 days and 3 nights. that kind of deal.
Right.
It's a place that totally exists, probably.
Yeah, that fight happened.
Yeah. And then the other one is Alderheart. Like it seems all the religions probably claim Alderheart as a special location.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where Altus first set down his holy lightning bolt that
Right.
struck the ground and made it fertile so that the tree could grow or some bullshit. Okay, so yeah, he'll just get lost in the details of this book and fade.
Okay. Continuing on. That'd be Genra, since James messed up my clockwise.
Ah,
Okay. So yeah, I don't know if the amulet's gonna work on the
Yeah, it is. Hell yeah, dude.
the elevator, for lack of a better term,
Mhm.
for the forbidden library.
Mhm.
So I guess, she's gonna look for that as an option.
Sure.
And then if it doesn't, have an option, then she's just going to guess where that would be.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you take the elevator. It brings you all the way down to the base floor where you entered from outside.
And does this look like kind of where I want to be?
There's a large spiral staircase that goes down, and a big desk, and 2 big stone statues.
Yes. Okay. She's gonna walk into this area.
Okay. You enter the area and spot a soft velvet rope crossing the spiral stair, and a sign that says archives access restricted to daylight hours under special permissions of the dean or staff.
I have to wait for daylight hours.
That's what the sign says.
That's what
Gavin really thinks that they're under special circumstances. So maybe this doesn't apply to them.
Hmm.
So she's just gonna slip under the rope.
As you move to slip under the rope, those giant stone statues grab their enormous stone halberds and
Well, I guess I won't be doing this tonight. And she just goes back to the elevator and goes back upstairs.
Okay.
So first,
Anything else?
No, she's just gonna
did you
go
look
back
at
to the
quest
bedroom
item
and
we just picked
just
up?
try to
All right.
clear her mind, think about everything that's been happening, and then just kind of doze off.
Genra sulks back to the room. Rezik,
Oh, Ginra, you're back.
you're not
what'd you
there
find?
yet. You've got hours of wandering about in the religious area.
Oh, this is all happening at the same time.
Yeah.
yep.
Rezik.
I was gonna bore you to death.
So before I leave, pat the kid and say, "Hey."
Kid doesn't get
Sorry
anywhere
about
near
what-
you.
Okay. I don't touch him. Hey, I'm sorry about last night. I know I was mean. I was tired. Sorry.
He nods, but his eyes are like way too big. Uh-huh.
Sorry.
Hmm.
I'm going to the library. Do you want me to get you a book?
Book.
The purple
Book.
ones, they only good
Book.
Yes? No?
Read.
Read? Yeah. Okay. And so as I go down there, as I go to leave to go to the elevator, I say, low level library. That's what I want to do.
All right. It takes you up into the central section of the trunk, and puts you out into a hallway leading to the central library.
That works. Central library is good.
I figured that's what you meant.
Yeah. And so I go through there. I guess there's probably some sort of catalog. I'm gonna imagine that this library is huge.
That is huge, and there are no visible catalogs, but there are plentiful librarians.
Okay. I go to talk to one of the librarians because I have quite a few books I'm looking for, at least for just generalities,
Okay.
of general history and other things.
You head over to the main desk, and there's an older looking hedge with thick glasses kind of hunched over a book on the desk. He looks up as you arrive and sniffles. Evening.
That's played.
Good evening. I was wondering if you could help me. I'm looking for
I want it for either my mage.
quite a few books. I'm trying to do a little bit of research here. Can I get some books on um, Scorch Grove,
So,
history on it, and then maybe also Winnowing Reach, maybe a history book or a general history of Winnowing Reach as well.
Well, the Scorch Grove is not considered public library access. It might be found with restricted access in the lower sections of the trunk. However,
Okay.
the Reach and any other of the cities, established cities in the Humblewood, can certainly be found here in the Central Library.
What about the history on Tenders as well?
Tenders, as in the druids of the natural world.
Yes.
I imagine we have some tomes upon them, though maybe not specific to their individual circles.
Okay. I'm looking for books on those, and then could you also give me? Do you have any children's book?
Children's books. Well, yes. We have coloring books for the little ones, while the students, who sometimes are parents, also do their student studies.
Oh, well, could I get one of those, please?
Certainly. Would you
And then-
like a bird folk children's book, or a humble folk children's book, or a tree children's book?
Bird folk.
Very well. Sifts through a small pile and gives you a half-filled coloring book with a couple of crayons, and most of the stories and imagery are of bird folk.
Can I also get the Humblewood folk one as well, please?
Yeah, certainly.
All right.
Grabs another. This one's only 1/4 full.
Yeah, I figured as much. Yeah. And then I guess that should do me for books for now.
Okay.
I guess.
He sends off several junior librarians, and they'll come back with a shockingly large pile of books. You will spend many hours here if you would like to peruse all of these.
Can I check out books to study in our room?
Yes, from here, from the central library, you can. The exterior libraries and, of course, the archives would not have such a liberty.
Okay. I don't know how many books I'm gonna be able to carry, so I want to try and choose the best ones out of it and carry as many as I can back.
So you'll spend a few hours looking for the most relevant books and then check those out?
Yes.
Okay. You'll come back with the books they brought on the Reach don't seem terribly useful. Is there anything specific you were trying to learn?
History. I was trying to gather or garner whether or not the history book had been changed to show whether or not if they had a history of the mayors, just a general history of the town.
They do.
The slime games.
So
stuff
they
like
definitely
that.
have a history of the founding of the Reach, and its most popular tourist attraction, the slime games. There is mention of several mayors, though it doesn't look to be a complete historic accounting. But there is no mention of Pontus.
Does it mention the current mayor?
The last entry in the tome you're looking through is not so recent as to have had that.
Okay.
You know what?
Well, then I just look up a the founding, and then I guess if there's anything on history of the slime games to try and see if I can garner whether or not there's anything about a freaking torchbearer or anything like that.
Okay. Go grab those as well as relevant books on those other subjects, and come back late into the night, maybe 1:30 in the morning. All right, the four of you have returned. It is somewhere between 1 and 2 a.m. Given your kind of messed up sleep schedules, you are all kind of tired, though your like extended sleep during the day is messing with that.
Whenever I get back, I hand the boy a coloring book. Not the bird folk one, the humble folk one.
Okay.
Just to kind of see how he reacts to it.
He takes it, flips through it. Ooh. Read. He holds his hand out.
I hand him the crayons.
He takes the crayons. Yeah, you got it. And he goes to town.
And then I guess I don't know if everybody else is back or not. I assume
They're starting to filter in.
Okay. Well, I'll wait until everybody else gets in.
Ugla's got a thick, dusty book. Genra looks, like comes out of the side chamber from like the reading nook, looking like she's been here for hours. And Lycus kind of stumbles in, looking both tired and like frustrated, and his hands and his face are a little sooty.
You have a good time, Lycus?
Oh, a tiring one. I have everything I need for a variety of different things. They don't have anything that would quite substitute for those dried veins.
We have some extra bombs if you want to check that out and see if you could come up with something else. Even if they don't, it might help you.
Maybe. We'll see about doing something with it for a while.
Kendra, have you been here the whole time?
Me?
Yes. I mean, I figured you would be there for a lot longer than what I was at the library.
Yes, I went down there and they apparently have the whole thing blocked off at certain times of the night. I have to go back during the daylight. Not very pleased with that, but it is what it is.
You didn't want to go see anything else?
No, that's really my primary interest. So.
Okay. Well, I found out that history on the Scorched Grove is going to be basically that's the only place where you're going to be able to learn about it or anything like that from the librarian. So
That's what I figured, and that's why I wanted to go down there. So, if you would like to go with me tomorrow morning or at some point during the day after we speak to the dean, perhaps you are welcome to come.
oh, I definitely will. Yeah, we will actually have to stay there. We can't bring anything back, unfortunately. But I brought all this other stuff that we could kind of read and browse on.
Wonderful. What is it?
I figured maybe we could check out the history of Winning Reach and check out get a little more information on the slime games, as well as for the tenders, the druid tenders. See if we could get any more information, like just from general history. So if we come, like there might be stuff that's referenced here that are in the restricted areas that we might not understand if we don't know or something.
I am curious if there's any mention of the torchbearers and those slime game areas of that.
Oh yeah, the Brotherhood of the Fire. Let's try looking that up.
Yes, I'm assuming that's going to be something that might be
Wait.
restricted, as it's
Keepers of the Fire.
yes, as it's sort of not taboo, but
Oh, they're very secretive. I feel a bit weird saying their name.
yes, exactly. So that is also something I would plan to look into.
if there's anything about a alchemist guild or a temple in the north devoted to some sort of alchemy thing, that would be good for me as well.
Wonderful. I mean, you are all welcome to come with. The more the merrier. I'm sure the
Oh, yeah.
more of us there are, the better we can
Frightened citizen
be
if I've
at
ever seen one.
tackling many things at once.
We
Kinda
could
Yes,
also,
we'll
all
meet with
need-
the dean in the morning and then head over there.
yeah.
Sounds like a
like,
plan.
if not, I think maybe spreading out a little bit, and unless we're all trying to do research, so that way we can all look up different things. If we want to make a list of things that we could kind of just skim through or browse through that might not be super in depth that we need, we could just spread out. Maybe that would be a better idea than all of us going there. But we can all go there. It's not that big of a deal. It's just I figured.
Feel free to go or don't, or stay very long or whatever you like. I plan on being there the whole time, but you're all welcome to come and go as you please.
All right. So the next couple of hours of that awkward, kind of sleepy, but also awake will pass in study or other, unrelated activities.
Well, I was going to ask Lycus if he had anything to help us sleep, so I could just go to sleep now rather
Oh,
than
he
wait.
he makes a tea for Resek and for himself.
Okay. Everyone finds slumber eventually. And do you set watches tonight?
Yeah, before bed, I was gonna try and get everybody's attention. All right. I woke up and I noticed nobody was keeping watch this morning. Do y'all think we need to do it? I think you were supposed to be last watch there again.
Yes, I was extremely tired when we passed out. As you could tell, we slept for so long. I
That's
mean,
fair. I mean, neither of us set a fire, so
yes, I don't know. I'm on the fence.
Surrounded by 3 rare monsters.
maybe it's only an outdoors thing. Hey, maybe we could get the kid to watch.
I mean, he seems to be watching anyway, isn't he? I heard you talking about him peeping, was it?
Oh yeah, just poking his head and see if we needed anything. I think I'll ask him if he'll just hang out.
I mean, if he sees us lighting a fire, I'm sure he's. Maybe he doesn't know the words, but he'll make a noise. I hope.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess everybody hears magic and stuff. It'd be all right.
Do we really want to leave watch up to a child?
We're in a building. I mean,
I mean, I don't disagree, but I don't want to ask the child to stay up.
I'm not going to ask him. I'm just assuming that he's always kind of on watch.
I got an idea.
What
Res-
is-
just set an alarm on like half the room with me and Ginner in it, and if we get out of bed, it'll go off, right?
All about that. And I remove my glove. Well, I look around to make sure the kid isn't in there.
Ah, okay.
And I just pull out just enough to show my pinky. And I'm like, I noticed this yesterday or today. Yesterday.
Too.
Yeah, yesterday. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you just set an alarm on the middle of the room, and if any of us you know what? If any of us get out of bed, have it go off. I'm not sure I even trust Lycus anymore after our excitement in the woods. No offense.
I'm taken.
Yeah, just let's make sure we all get a nice night's sleep, and none of us try and sneak out and do anything crazy. And if it does, get that alarm going off, we'll wake up, shake them real quick, and get them back to bed.
Okay.
You do realize we've never seen it, though.
Seen a what?
I mean, none of us have ever seen it happen. And in some circumstances, it seemed so quick that there would be no shaking of anyone.
I mean, you gotta assume the rules of the world apply, and the rules of the world would be that we'd have to get out of our bed and walk to go gather stuff to light on fire or something. So, I mean, if it's something magic, then there's nothing we can do, but it's worth a shot.
So, do you guys remember the time when Ginner woke us up for that little? I can't remember what it's called. That little smelly pig thing.
No, I think
Whenever I woke up, there was the fire was normal. I went over to look, and then I looked back, and there's a roaring fire with you sitting next to it. Ugla.
me.
Yeah.
Within a matter of seconds.
Like, and it happened.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure I remember that. Sorry.
Well,
No rules apply there. You defy law, at least in some way, shape, or form. I've never seen anyone move that fast.
I'm not that fast. I'm strong, but I'm not that fast.
Well, I don't know about that.
I guess if I need to be, maybe. You never know, right? But yeah, let's just set the little alarm. Maybe it works. Maybe it doesn't. But you gotta try something, right?
Okay. The Rezik
Wait,
sets
yeah.
the alarm, but sets no one to be passable.
no one to be passable and external ring.
Okay. Loud alarm.
Yep. And it's only if they leave. I guess I can't really do movement. It doesn't say that I could do that. So it's
Right.
like if we leave the area,
Correct.
rather than
anything
if they come
crossing
in.
anything crossing the barrier triggers the alarm.
Yep. So
Where's the barrier? Where
I
does
put it. Jesus. Well, if one of us could ever use the bathroom in the middle of the night,
That's what I was thinking.
Well, you have to
go in
wake,
the corner.
up Rezik or pee your pants.
Drink the apple
That's
juice.
why there's
Pee in the
chamber
apple
pot.
juice bottle.
Yeah.
Gross. Please don't put it back in.
Confuse the child. Confuse the boy.
Put the chamber pot in the middle of the room, then 3 of us could probably hit it.
There you go.
That's gross.
Wham bam.
All right.
And I do it beside the bed, not at the doorway. I just do it right beside the
Okay.
bed closest to the door.
Okay. So the 4 of you head off to sleep. No watches, but an alarm in place. I need so many things on this night of unwatchfulness. I need D50 from Ugla, D90s from Rezik and Genra. Ah, good.
Ooh, there's a roll.
And lastly, I need a D100 from Lycus.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh.
Lycus, roll intelligence save and pray you roll low. That's not very low, Lycus.
Reasonably low.
That's very middling.
What, do you want me to roll another one?
No, I was just trying to help. I was hoping that the RNG gods would bless you with sanity. Unfortunately. Okay.
Fortunately, it's half and half.
Yes. So, Lycus, you struggled to sleep this night. You wake in stops and starts from dreams you can never remember. At several points, you awaken, roll onto your side, and like half open a single eye, and spot one of your party mates sitting in the center of the room, kind of like hovering as if they're wall sitting or as if they were sitting on a log, but there is no log. And they're just kind of chilling there in the center around the chamber pot that Rezik jokingly placed in the center of the room.
Is there a fire?
There is no fire, but they do sit suspiciously like they were around one.
All three of them.
No, separate instances. You wake several. So, as you know, let's pretend you wake a dozen times throughout the sleep, and at several instances, more than once per person, you spot one of them in the circular area around the chamber pot. And then,
Damn you, keen mind.
and then, sometime in the night, you awaken and spot 4 people around the chamber pot. None of them your party mates.
I'm actually
Is, do any of them look like does one of them look like Lily?
No. In fact,
What do they look like?
well, weirdly enough, even though your memory is perfect, all of their backs are to you. The one of them definitely has to be facing you because they're sitting in a circle. But in your mind, in your keen mind, their backs are always to you.
Okay.
Open up another instance in my book so I don't have to keep swapping pages. Okay,
This
there we
is
go.
so much more interesting than if we'd taken watches.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
You luckily this isn't happening to Genra because she wasn't there for it. You were there for the hairless servant, and this looks like you're remembering. Like this is still kind of, it feels like a dream when you wake up. It feels like some sort of wild nightmare. But thanks to keen mind, it's so very clear. These look like kind of like if Vulpin were in that fully naked, hairless state, but with their backs to you.
Okay.
So it's a little shorter than the servant was, but they're like sitting upright. You don't see any wings, and you don't see any fur. You do spot, kind of low pointed ears, and they are all facing both towards the chamber pot as if it were a fire, and with their back to you somehow.
He concentrates and tries to think of them with a full coat on. Because that's just not right.
You can't imagine it. For some reason, the hairlessness looks correct.
Well, I'm going to be looking this up in the morning.
All right. Despite the wild night, you get your rest, and all of you awaken a little late morning, maybe 10 a.m., 10:30, and the alarm hasn't gone off. There's no fires. Everything seems totally ordinary.
Question for you, Randy.
Mm-hmm.
And the 4 were sitting around the fire, were 3 of them in their bunks?
So you're in one bunk, so you wouldn't be able to see 3.
He was in the reading nook.
Oh, you're in the nook. Right. Roll at D100 again. Okay.
Middling.
If only you got to stop asking questions someday.
Yep.
They are there, but the more you kind of focus on expanding that like memory of the scene, the more 3 of the 4 around the chamber pot kind of blur, and your companions lay blurred in their beds.
Okay.
When you awaken in the morning, go to put on your gear. Your non-alchemy hand will have 1 blackened pinky.
Well, shit.
So, the 4 of you wake up.
He actually, Randy,
Yes.
he quietly takes off his glove and touches his alchemy hand to his blackened pinky.
Oh God,
Ooh.
James, why do you want to kill this character? Okay. All right. All right.
Alright.
Okay.
He's afflicted with Ugla's. Let's test it.
Let's just open it and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up.
Look, he's half crazy already with dreams of Haster. What do you want?
Fair. Well, you don't have. I thought Ugla had Haster dreams. Did you have Haster dreams?
No, Ugla had Haster dreams, but it was kind of implied that that was attached to the servant.
Right. Yeah. But you don't know that it's like you
It's
didn't
true,
have no dreams.
true. Fair. No, but Ugla did mention it.
Creeped you out, but
Okay. Okay. You take the alchemy hand and poke the shadowy finger. Nothing happens at first, and you've done this enough that you kind of learned that it's not usually just like touching anything. It's usually liquid based.
Right, it's a powder or liquid. Yeah.
Right. So you don't have either of those on the finger. So if you want to do this test, you're gonna have to prick yourself.
He'll find a needle.
Okay. All right. At first, it seems super normal. You get your like crazy alchemy knowledge, but it starts.
This is blood.
This is blood. But like you break it down, and you're like blood is made of blah 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 and blah blah blah. And the only thing that really ticks you off as odd is that the glucose levels are not correct. They're too low. The sugar content that makes up part of blood is too low for it to be yours.
Right, so he'll prick probably somewhere on his arm and touch that to compare against.
Seems fine.
Okay.
We all got the diabetes on our extremities.
Y'all got type 1 diabetes, but it's only in your hands.
mm-hmm.
Hypoglycemia in a finger. How? And he's gonna try to puzzle this out.
Okay.
Can he make an appropriate roll based on knowledge?
This is pretty advanced as far as D&D levels of medical knowledge goes.
Sure.
So I will allow an alchemy roll, but it will be very hard.
Okay.
While he's rolling, do any of us see him do this?
No, this is all like during the waking up process. So the other 3 of you are gathering your items. Maybe you went to grab a roll for breakfast. You're in your morning ritual.
Okay.
Your check essentially tells you that there are no reasons that fall within the normal realms of alchemy that this should be possible.
Like, could it be an infection? Could it be?
I mean, you can start to make some wild guesses when this check kind of doesn't do as much good as you'd like. Things like maybe you've got like restricted blood flow that would cause discoloration. Maybe that would affect your blood content.
But it wouldn't affect blood sugar.
Right. maybe this malady, whatever it is siphoning blood sugar. Maybe you've got like an actual like a parasite.
I mean, that would explain why stuff would turn black if things were dying.
Yeah, it cause discoloration and could explain that maybe it feeds on blood sugar. So that's a wild guess. You feel like you're definitely grasping at straws when you pull the word
Right.
parasite from your mind.
He's gonna roll Arcana to see if there's any reason why this, if there's any curses he can think of that might cause something like this.
Sure. Not
Nope.
that you can think of, and if there were, you assume they would be on the very darker side of magic, which is something you're much less familiar with.
Right. What's necromancy?
Indeed. So the four of you, go about your morning rituals. You do your business. You get all your garb and gear together. Boy has come by, and he looks to have left a plate of fresh breads and butters, as well as what appears to be a completed coloring book, and two very like down to the nubs crayons, where he got even more bored and like colored in the outer scenery and all sorts of other stuff. He is nowhere to be found this morning, though.
Lycus is wearing 2 gloves this morning.
Ooh.
And wearing his fancy clothes.
Indeed. All right, party. What are you doing?
All right, let's eat a bite and go check in on the dean.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Wonder where boy is.
I mean, looks like the night went well. No fires, no nothing. Everybody sleep well?
Yes, quite well.
Yeah.
Fair to middling. Can't complain.
You were all floating in the middle of the night.
Come again?
Yes, you were
Out of
sitting
our
about. You were sitting about the chamber pot, as though you were sitting on a log. And
Oh,
for
really?
lack of a better term, floating. Yes.
Another one of those iron rings.
How do you know it was us?
Because otherwise, well.
It's very
But if
strange.
anyone else gotten in during the alarm,
Did
I
you
didn't.
call out to wake us?
If I have those hazy dreams,
Yeah.
that you're not sure whether or not they're dreams, and you don't really want to really wake yourself up in the middle of them.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
I mean, it could have just been a weird dream.
I agree.
Given
Possible.
given my fits, and given that I could definitely feel that my arm was falling asleep on me, I was sleeping in the wrong position. I doubt that was the case.
Yeah.
Was anybody else there? I mean, what?
It was each one of you sat around the chamber pot, staring at it at a different point in time. As I said, floating as though you were sitting about a campfire.
Well, I guess at least we didn't light a fire.
And you know definitively that it was us. I just feel as though I didn't move at all in my bed.
I mean,
Well, people who sleepwalk don't either.
right. And, evidently I've lit a bunch of fires and have no recollection of it, so.
Yes, but we've never seen that either. You were so fast. I don't know how this would be the same experience. It sounds quite different.
Let's keep doing
That, but maybe. I feel like I would wake you up, and Ugly would definitely wake.
Rezik was it?
Actually, we should go back and talk.
Rezik was there as well.
Then, because there's another part.
Wait, wasn't there an alarm? Why did the alarm not go off?
Because it was all inside the room.
Rezik was there too. Does that mean Rezik?
No. You just.
Let's just see your
pick up the
hands.
umbrella and then visit mine encampment.
Rezik showed you he had a black pinky earlier.
Oh, I
I was
missed.
like, yeah, showed you this already.
Well, none of them have turned black yet, except that one. So I guess that's
Yeah.
something.
Do we cut it off?
That is
Ah.
what I use
Are there
once I
any
get to the next
changes?
Shows you the rest of his fingers. No.
I don't think it would do you any good. Whatever it is seems to be affecting all of your blood sugar to that particular appendage.
So cut it off.
What?
No, don't cut it off.
Blood. How do you?
You don't even
What
know,
is
you don't even know what
blood
blood sugar is. Yeah.
Yeah. What is blood sugar?
Oh, it's
Sweet
have you
blood.
ever had blood that tasted sweet before?
No.
Not made a habit of drinking blood.
All
I'm
right.
really questioning you right now, Lycus.
What? Okay, fine. I have very sharp teeth.
Lycus reveals he's a vampire all along.
A vampire, Volpin, a val
Vampire.
But
Volpire.
vampire.
I think it would behoove us all to make this one of our top priorities in the searches today.
Yeah, I mean, it's got 3 out of 4 of us. We should probably figure out what it's doing to us.
I tried
In
to
a different fever dream, I think I may have seen what I might become, and I would rather like to avoid that.
What's that?
It was negative, I guess.
Oh, well, something like that servant friend.
Naked and crazy.
What's wrong with that guy?
Naked, crazy, and without fur, and I really do adore my fur. I was kind of shocked, honestly, when I didn't have any on my hand anymore.
Then we
Yeah.
get the awesome tattoos like that.
Yes, that it has a purpose, and I've had to come to terms with that, but not the. If it doesn't have a purpose, I rather like keeping my name. It's part of my namesake.
How do you know it doesn't have a purpose?
Chill out.
How do you know so much about this?
Because I've been studying it and noticed a few things, and well, I mean, why else does a finger turn black? Why else does a
Frost.
part of your body potentially die off other than it's not getting appropriate sustenance?
Magic.
Yeah, it's weird. They,
I'm
they
like-
do look kind of like they're dead, but
Looks alive to me.
Well, it is alive, but it's also very dead.
It doesn't
Right.
appear to be decayed.
Let's cut it off.
yeah, I mean, they're just
No,
black.
you don't cut it off. Don't cut it off. Not until we understand what it is.
You got to be careful. It might grow a new Rezik.
That's all we need is another man. That'd be awesome.
It'd be evil Rezik. Or two magic Rezik.
Evil Rezik definitely has a goatee.
Yes, well, we should make it one of our priorities in addition to looking for information about why the tender's information is going missing or whatever. That's the fire corruption thing.
Yeah, learning about this curse has got to be number one.
Yes, indeed. I think that's definitely a huge priority when we go down there today.
We need to be spending some time also looking for what's going on with the missing information about the fire corruption. Because that is our job here and is what is giving us access to the libraries.
Right. It could all be related too.
That's how I feel too. It feels like all of this is somewhat related. I mean, it seems like it on the surface. All of these things we've come across.
Yeah, since our original journey when we all set off from Winding Reach together, it's all kind of gone into each other.
Exactly.
Well, let's go meet this dean.
Yeah, I don't want to keep him waiting. I'm gonna bring up Morty, who we were told lived here. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, if you want to send a missive for him or request his presence, I imagine we can probably do so.
Or just ask, the dean if he knows anybody named that.
Maybe, or we could just. Oh, let's ask the dean.
Seems fine so far. And I mean, if it's somebody that, is bad or we shouldn't know, then okay, fine. We don't have to know him.
All
Let's
right.
go.
What's the plan?
Go talk to the dean.
Okay.
Go to the deans.
And hold it up at Amia and go, Dean's office.
Okay. It lights up just like last time and straight up to the dean's office. You head down the hallway and locate the dean in the post-breakfast, pre-lunch hours.
Sweet.
He-
Assuming it's a curtain, not a door, so just push it open.
It is a door, but it's open.
Oh, okay.
He's the dean. He gets a door.
Do a friendly, hey, we're here kind of knock and then step in.
He doesn't look up from his paperwork. He seems lost in his work.
And just yell out, Dean, we've decided to accept your, we've decided we're interested in your proposition.
He looks up, a little startled. Oh! Is it after breakfast already?
Oh, yeah.
And he looks to his left, and there is a very cold, very stale-looking breakfast.
Hmm.
I see. Well, I suppose now is the time. I hope you all rested.
Excellent.
Yes, well, thank you.
So, what would the terms be? We help you find an answer, and let's say we do help you find the answer. What would our side of the bargain be?
Well, you could of course avail yourselves of the academy's resources, and I mean, discovering and information about the corruption and stopping it was, of course, a benefit to all of the Humblewood.
It's true. We do need your knowledge.
And as I suppose, while within the archives, you could do any other research that you felt necessary, within reason.
Of course.
Okay, I mean, that sounds fair. We wouldn't want to take any sort of monetary or physical goods from a place of higher learning that I'm sure relies on donations.
I do actually have one suggestion, if you don't mind. Would it be possible to draw up a sort of contract of sorts saying that in the event of some sort of, I don't want to say battle, but some sort of thing like a battle? Can't think of the word.
If we were to uncover something unfortunate during our studies, would we be held liable against any damages caused as a result of in defending ourselves or apprehending a cult?
That, and in the future, if we're fighting against the tenders, I would like some support, if you don't mind. So, could we count on your finest, your brightest, perhaps even you, to accompany us in a time of need? Great.
I mean, if any were to threaten the Humblewood, I'm sure that the Avium would be part of the response.
I just
Threatening-
have assumptions. That's all. It seems very presumptuous of anybody to assume that someone will be there and then nobody ends up being there. It's just one of those things, a matter of
No, that guy's cool.
word of mouth.
Yes.
Also, Dean, just to clarify, in danger or threatened is very subjective to what someone's belief or overall goal to something is. If the goals meets the ends, then it might not be perceived as threatening, and it's one of those that if we perceive the Humblewood to be threatened or in imminent danger, would you be there to support us?
Well, friends. He puts on his nice diplomat, his best diplomat smile. I mean, no offense. However, you are by no means the decision makers for the Humblewood. If you perceive a threat and can make your case in such a way that I or others believe you, then we would respond appropriately. But going on, just the word of 4 young adventurers seems naive.
So then why would you want us to help you here?
Because I need intelligence and discretion that is unattached to the avium.
All right. Sounds like we got ourselves a bargain. And Ugla's gonna hold out his wing.
Okay? You'll shake hands.
All right. So actually, we made a friend out in Scorched Grove. What's the town by that?
Ashbarrow.
Ashbarrow. And she directed us to one of her former adventuring pals out here. A guy by the name of Morty. Is he here?
Oh, Morty, yes. He leads the divination studies.
Excellent. Might we be able to request an audience with him?
I'm sure he's teaching his courses. You could find him during or after.
All right, perfect, guys. We can just go, drop in and wait on him to finish his classes tonight. Sure, he'll be excited to hear news of his old friends, even if it might be negative.
Is Morty part of this? Not part of it, but is he very involved in the happenings around here?
Gave
Do you have that list?
Oh, yes, the list. Here.
Because that might answer our question as well.
He gives you a short list of names of people capable of accessing the archives.
And then,
I just
Morty
felt
is
like-
not on it for reference.
okay. Do you want to ask that question again?
Yeah.
Okay. But Professor Morty is he heads up the divination studies, which while useful and important, it is probably the least favored of the schools of arcane study.
And why might that be?
Well, some believe that the divine is best studied by those who are best at showing aptitude towards its nature, clerics and paladins. Others are simply not fond of the arcane spells that belong to the divine school. They neither deal damage or heal or construct. They deal with things like the unknown, which is, even with the aid of magic, unknowable.
Fair enough. I suppose that answers my question. Yes. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Please enjoy your stay.
All right, let's get down to brass tacks to go do some research. Unless anybody else has any questions for the dean. Dean, you need anything else from us?
Ah, a 1,000,000 gold. Aha,
Huh. If I had it, I'd be more than happy to share, but I do not.
That was fucking terrifying.
Okay, you guys go.
Yep.
Rezek once again waxes on to leave. Okay. You make your way back to the elevator and head down to the bottom floor where you entered. You see the large desk, a receptionist, and the stairwell, as well as the 2 stone statues. The sign and the velvet rope are not there, Genra.
Well, who is going to accompany me today in the restricted area?
I'm in. Let's go find some stuff.
I'll go along too.
Same.
You make your way down the stairs. The large stone statues do not move. Nothing happens. You begin the climb down into the petrified root system of the trunk. As you reach the bottom of the long and winding staircase, you emerge into a room filled with rows upon rows of large stone shelves, each containing several hundred books. Magical braziers illuminate this area, but their light strains to reach every nook between the large bookshelves. A swift strig sits reading behind a desk in the center of the room. As you approach, he puts down his book and eyes you curiously. Ah, the Dean's researchers?
Yeah, service, sir.
Us?
Excellent. And that's where we're going to end session today.
I'm gonna roll insight on his excellent.
Oh,
Is it really think it's excellent that we're there?
Sure.
Sure as in roll.
Yeah, go ahead. Ah, seems like it's excellent.
Okay.
Nothing suspicious here. Everything's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything seems excellent.
Everything does seem
You don't
excellent.
see anything.
Wax off. Hello.
I kind of would have liked the alternative. Everything is not excellent.
What? That doesn't seem right.
Right.
Everything is excellent when you're part of the team.
That's right.
Everything is awesome when you're part of the team. Anyway,
Definitely awesome.
Mm.
All right, pals. It's been a blasty blast. Nice work, everybody. I will see some of you on Thursday, I think I remember. One
I'll
of
be
you.
here. I just gotta leave early.
There we go. Anyone
Let's do
else
it.
planning on not being here or leaving? No? All right. So, see you all Thursday. Those of you out there on the internet, we appreciate you. You think you're awesome. Live good lives. Don't forget to pet your animals. Drink water. It's good for you.
Not just apple juice.
You know, apple juice in its non-sugary, super processed form, still great for you. A little sugar heavy, but still way better than like soda.
Maybe.
Not maybe.
Maybe.
Not maybe.
Sugar water in general.
That's what I just said in its
Apple
not super sugar infused form.
You crunch up apples, you're gonna get a very sugary drink.
Oh yeah,
You don't even have to infuse it.
I'm aware. But if you buy it from the store, you're gonna get a 10
it's even
times that
worse.
sugary
Yeah.
drink.
Then you're getting apples and corn.
Exactly. All right. Goodbye, internet.
You don't need a killer, dragon for